when you come from a place of service and your heart is in the right place, people can feel that and they're going to know it's also because you truly mean it, that you want to help more people, right? So you can't skip that step. Hello, and welcome to Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. This podcast is dedicated to chiropractors who are in the seasons of launching and building their practice. Join myself, Dr. Lona, and my co-host, Dr. Bobby, as we have conversations each week as it relates to building the practice of your dreams. And remember, you can have a remarkable practice as part of a remarkable life, not instead of one. We're here to lead you on the way.
What is up, team? Welcome back to the Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast, pardon me, with the amazing Dr. Lona Cook and myself, Dr. Bobby Lajasevic. Dr. Lona, what's going on, lady? How's your week?
My week's been great. I can't complain. How about you, Bobby?
It's been fabulous. It's been really good. We've had an awesome week. We had our board meeting a couple of weeks ago in our offices. So everybody's fresh and firing and super stoked and excited for the second half of the year.
Yeah, that's so good. So important to have your wits about you of where are we at in this quarter, in this year, and keep your team in alignment with that. So that's a nudge. If you haven't had a meetup for the half of the year, you need to do that.
Yeah, I know, right? Tell me about it. Hey, how's summertime over there? You enjoying the hot weather?
Yeah, we went camping last weekend and I have a 4-year-old that has bug bites galore, but it's great. Yeah.
Oh, nice. Well, you're making me jealous here. I mean, it's not too bad here where I am, right? I wake up, it's about 10 degrees in the morning, which for you guys on the Northern Hemisphere, I think that's about 40 degrees, I believe, 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Not bad. Yeah.
But that's a cold winter, Lona. I'm cold. I'm here complaining. So I don't care what anyone says. I don't care where you're listening to this from, right? That is cold. Our
Wisconsin, that's not cold. That's not cold.
Our houses here are not built for it. I actually heard somebody say something funny. For those of you guys who don't know, I live down under, specifically I'm in Sydney, Australia. And I heard somebody in Sydney say this last week. They go, man, Sydney in winter is colder indoors than what it is outdoors. And I was like, that's a really good point. It's because just our houses and stuff, they're not built for the cold, They're not built for like withstanding these temperature drops. And so you go inside and it's freezing, you go outside and it's like mild,
I guess I have to come visit.
You got to have to visit. Absolutely. We just had Coach Eric Martino over here. I think he had a great time. So if you're going to come visit, definitely come visit in the warmer months, right? So you can take advantage of the beaches and all the beauty that we have.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Amazing. Awesome. All right, team. So we are super excited to be having this conversation today. It is one that we've got a lot of feedback from. And I would also say that in chiropractic, it's one of the most, if not the most popular topic in chiropractic. If I could keep count of the amount of times that somebody asks me this question, I think by this stage I would have lost count. In fact, if I myself kept count of the amount of times that I used to ask this question in my early years, oh man, if I had $1 for every single time I asked it, I'd have a lot of dollars, that's for sure. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's the question that we all at one stage or another in our mind have thought of. It's the question that all of us at one stage thought, I need more of this. And that is, how do I generate more new patients inside of my office? Bang, there, I said it. All right. How do we get more newies inside of the office, Dr. Lona?
Yeah. I mean, Bobby, especially for our people who are listening, who are maybe launching their first practice or in those beginning years of building a practice, like this question lives on the forefront of your mind. And I always tell people, like, you're in a popularity contest at first. It's like, how many people can I meet and how many people know your name and how many times can you show up in front of them? And that really is one of the main hats you're wearing. So I agree with you, Bobby. It is a pressing question, not the only question, but a big one.
Yep. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how amazing somebody's product is. And I always love when I hear people say this. I always love it when I hear someone kind of drop the comment of, just do great work, and the marketing will take care of itself. Sure. Okay. I agree with part of that comment. Yes, do great work, 100%. And continue to thrive to do better work and continue to thrive to build excellency in what you do and how you deliver your product. And if you're not doing that, okay, so let me say this loud and clear. If you're not doing great work or you're not continuing to strive to do better work or develop more excellence, then get out, right? It's that simple. That should be a baseline expectation. If you're listening to this conversation, I have an expectation already that you are doing fabulous work. And you know what? That you want to continue to do better and better and better work. You know, when I graduated from chiropractic school, Lona, at the time, I thought of myself as, you know what? I do great work. Did I think of myself as I have absolute mastery? No. But did I look at it and I go, have I dedicated 10,000 hours of my life, focused hours of my life to developing how to understand the adjustment, the subluxation complex, my line of drive, my tissue slag, visualization, moving vertebrae, helping the body heal, getting in the right present conscious state? Yes, I'd done a certain amount of that where you could already say, okay, I had a certain level of proficiency. I knew with time I wanted to continue to develop mastery. But I also knew that, you know what, give me more new patients and I'll develop more mastery because I'll have more people to work with. Right?
There's an element there for sure, right? That's why it's called
Yes.
practice.
Yeah. So if you're ever thinking in your mind, guys, just do great work. Yes, do great work, but remove the word just and add the word and. Do great
Mhm.
work and market the shit off of your backside. Sorry about the profanities, right? But at the end of the day, if you do both, okay, you're going to grow more than if you just do one. It's that simple. And, you know, I think BJ's quote is legendary and sums it up. Everybody's heard the quote. Everybody somewhere along the lines has said, oh, yeah, that was a good quote, right? I like it. And I'm going to say it right now. Lona, you're probably knowing which quote I'm thinking about already. It's the early to bed, early to rise, work damn hard, and advertise. Okay. So famous BJ quote, and I'm pretty sure for a reason he put the advertise in there for a very specific reason. You know, it wasn't just early to bed, early rise, do great work, and do nothing else. All right. No.
Yes. Yes.
Right? So BJ's obviously put a lot of conscious thought, energy into this over a lifetime. I mean, the man bought a radio station. We've all heard the stories.
Mhm.
So it's like,
Mhm.
you know, let's just learn from the greats and stand in shoals and giants rather than always starting from the beginning and just accept the fact that advertising and marketing is going to be a way that you grow quicker if that's your wish and that's your desire.
Mm. So good. And Bobby, you bringing that up to start this conversation, I think puts everyone right in the place we need to be in, which is to hear the truth, which is we are not at a place where we get to rest on our haunches and not educate people and bring them into the fold. And that's what marketing is. It's an act of kindness, as we've all heard Dr. Stephen Franson say, is marketing is an act of kindness, because if people knew what you did, they would do what you do, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we market.
Yeah. And I specifically wanted to start there because I just wanted to slay that dragon and say, if that's your mindset, all right, you're probably not going to like this episode. But if your mindset is, I want to have an and conversation means I want to do great work. All right. And I want to learn how to do amazing rock star marketing so I can combine that with my great work, then you're going to love this episode and you're probably going to love the next couple as well. All right. So buckle in because we've got some fun coming up for you. So what I want to do and what we wanted to do, guys, when Dr. Lona and I sat down is today is going to be dedicated to what we call chiro marketing mastery, particularly the mindset behind it, okay? Because before we start giving any strategies or any systems or any tactics or anything that you can start implementing based on where you are in your growth trajectory, really we need to make a shift above the atlas with our understanding of marketing, all right? And I know that I needed to make this shift because my early days, I didn't have a clue how to market. In fact, I often have this conversation with my wife. I was probably through 2 years into practice. In that 2 years into practice, I was getting coached already for a period of about 2.5 years because I started getting coached when I was still studying, right? So I was still in my final year of chiropractic school. And I remember 2 years, 2.5 years, saying to my wife, man, I still don't have a clue how to bring a new patient in. Because if I looked at my track record, all of my new patients that I'd seen at that point were a result of just like somebody walked past the practice or they happened to find us online or there was like referrals trickling in. You know, I had a really small practice to begin with. I didn't launch it from scratch. I bought one that had 17 visits a week. So it was what I call kind of like just organic marketing. It wasn't like, oh, I could put my foot down and get, you know, at that stage, more people to my website or more people to walk past my office or, you know, it was just kind of like trickling. I was waiting for newies to come in. And it was roughly at that moment that I realized I've got to develop the skill set around how do I make it rain with new patients? Because quite frankly, new patients are the lifeblood of any growing business. And the reason for that is because any business has churn, and churn in the business world is percentage of people that drop out of your business every single month. And every business has a dropout. Every business has churn. Okay. Pharmaceutical companies have churn. People die. Okay. They lose those customers. Or maybe they find a chiropractor, they don't need the medication anymore, so they drop off the medication, preferably. Okay.
I like
Banks.
you added that in there.
Right?
That's great.
Yeah, see what I did there, Lona? Huh?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. Okay. So banks, let's just look at some of the biggest businesses in the world. Banks, people again either die or they pay out their mortgage, right? Or they decide, right, they're not going to get any more debt. They lose that customer, right? We can keep going down the line here, right? But when you start to understand what I'm talking about here, every major business, the biggest businesses in the world have churn, right? People either pass away, move away, die away. Our practices are the same. And, this is important to understand because I think I did mention this last time on the podcast, but it doesn't matter how good an office is. Okay, they still have dropouts because if they didn't, that office would be on 27,650 visits a week, right?
Right.
And that's not the case, right? You have people that are teaching from stage and have amazing offices and they're seeing 600, 700 visits a week. So think about the thousands and thousands and tens of thousands that have dropped out of care of those offices, all right?
Yes.
That, guys, is called churn. And the rate at which you start new people, if it's the same as the rate that you're having dropouts, guess what? You're a plateauing practice. All right. If the rate at which you start people is greater than the amount that are dropping out, you're going to be growing. It's a growing practice. And if the rate that you start people is less than the amount that are dropping out, okay, then is more than the amount that's less than the amount that are dropping out. Pardon me. So more are dropping out, less are starting. That's a shrinking practice. Okay. Mm-hmm. So in the early days, when we might have less patients inside the office, we don't need that many newies to grow. Okay. But then as you grow and as you onboard associates and you start to onboard multiple associates, the need of new patients in the office increases. And of course, when the need increases, our level of expertise and our level of understanding as leaders of the office must also increase at the same time. So Lona, why don't you just kick us off a little bit here and talk about, all right, your journey, I know, with marketing. So obviously you went from starting an office to now you have multiple DCs. What's been your experience as you've onboarded more DCs and how has that impacted your marketing and how have you had to adapt accordingly?
Yes, I would love to. Before I jump into that though, there was one thing you said that I wanted to bring back, when you had said at the beginning of this podcast, this is an and conversation about, yes, deliver a great product. You can be bringing people in and if you're not able to deliver the goods, doesn't matter how many new people you're going to bring in, they're going to be leaving the practice, right? For various reasons, whether that's you can't give a great adjustment, you don't know how to communicate, which is all the other systems that we train you on and the communication and all of that and having a great team, right? So it is definitely an and conversation of deliver a great product and bring people in the fold. So for me, like Bobby, I started, from scratch our practice. And I've actually had the good fortune to start 4 practices from scratch. So this idea of lifting something up and bringing people to it is near and dear to my heart. And what I realized is especially in a brand new practice, the ability to be boots on the ground where you do have probably more energy and time than you have money in a new practice setup is a really important phase to go through, where you're physically going out and meeting people, physically putting on events and talks and going to chamber and doing all that. All of that is really important because every single person you meet is a potential lead, right? They are a person that may step foot in the practice. And the thing I want to underline here for especially you new docs is to realize you feel like you're in a sprint, you need new people yesterday, but you have to realize you're actually in a very long, trail marathon that's going to go on forever. And that these leads, even if they don't come in the second, they may come in 5 years from now from something you did or said, in the beginning phase of startup. So just know you're in a journey of cultivating these relationships. And so when we really start to think about marketing, we know I'm building this practice for the long haul and I'm becoming a staple in this community and creating these relationships that can pay off for many, many, many years, right? So let's not be short-sighted here. And that's something that I think sometimes you don't think like that in the beginning, right? So, when I went from being, one doc in one practice to multiple docs and multiple docs in a practice, I really realized how important this idea of having routine amounts of new people that I could come to expect on each month really was. We hear in chiropractic a lot of times a referral-based practice. Everybody wants a referral-based practice. And that's great. And you can have systems around referring people in, right? There's still systems there for internal cultivation. And Just like we started off by saying, what would BJ do in this day and age with all that's available to us to speak to the population of people out there? Man, we got to think bigger, right? And this is why having the business acumen and the conviction around growing a business that can serve your community on a bigger scale than maybe just your own hands can do. This is what I get excited about, because chiropractic has just begun to scratch the surface of like serving a population of people. So recognizing repeatable routine systems around this marketing idea, whether that's coming from internal referrals or from what you're doing externally in the community, which are all conversations we're going to have on future podcasts, as well as what you're doing digitally, is then what is going to feed multi-docs.
Yep. I love that. I love it. So I want to highlight and circle back to something that you chatted about there, which I think is very important, and that is playing the long game. Now, yes, playing the long game is incredibly important to build a durable practice. And durable practice means down the road, one that's not reliant on any one person, including you. So if you want to build it as a business, it needs to be durable. But that starts from the beginning, and you can start at any time, to be frank and to be honest. However, that doesn't mean that you can't have instant wins along the way.
Right.
So we're going to show you some tactics right now on this episode that's going to give you some instant wins straight away today. Okay, you can incorporate this in today's shift. If you're listening to this driving to the office or driving home from the office and you're going to be back there tomorrow morning, you can incorporate some of these tactics that I'm going to talk about and like Lona's going to talk about straight away tomorrow. And then our next 2 episodes, guys, we're going to give you a battle plan. So we're going to put a battle plan together for a newer or a build office. So someone who's in that season of like launch or build, what's a battle plan? What are the exact systems that I should do? Okay. And then on the back of that, guys, we're going to do an episode putting a battle plan together for a scaling office. So you're a scaling office where you have multiple DCs. Maybe you want to add more. Maybe you want to fill up your existing DCs. We're going to give you an actual battle plan, because how you approach each one of those is slightly different due to the distribution of resources, namely time, energy, and money, right? Yes. So I want to talk now for a second about this idea of understand a funnel. So picture in your mind now as you're driving, I want you to visualize a funnel where it's wide at the top, okay, and then it gets narrower and narrower at the bottom. I think it's important, first step, to separate, okay, to separate that the first job, right? I love what my brother, who's a chiropractor, said about this. He goes, man, I wish I could just put a bell outside of my office and just I ring the bell, and anyone that has like spinal subluxation, which is everybody, just like, wow, see this bell and goes, oh man, and they come into the office, right? And I was kind of like having a laugh at that. And I go, yeah, I wish that everybody who was subluxated, right, and knew they needed a chiro, that they had like a red light that popped up above their head. So you could just be like, oh, the person's got a red light. Hey, how you doing, lady? Yeah, good. You need a chiropractor? Guess what? We've got a great office. Come down the road. Okay. So what I recognize is the reason that I wished it was that easy, because that was people self-identifying, right? Like, I need a chiropractor. Okay. So if you look at the top of the funnel, the first job of the top of the funnel, okay, is to gather leads. And a lead by definition is contact information of somebody. Okay. So contact information is the thing they keep close to their chest, right? So my phone number, my address, my name, where am I from? That's my contact information. I don't give that out willy and nilly, but it's the first thing that I'll give out that doesn't cost me money when I'm mildly interested in something. Lona, does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. But again, as chiropractors, we haven't had much orientation to understanding a lead coming in. So even for the new docs, I'd say like just try and keep good stats on who you've met and where they are at and how you're going to follow up with them.
Yep. So watch this. Ready? So those people walking past your office that you don't have a clue who they are, and you look out the window right now, if you're driving this car, find someone that you can see. Maybe they're driving in a car next to you. Maybe they're walking on the road. Okay. That person right now that you see, you don't have their contact information. So they're not a lead yet. If you were able to get their contact information, that means you could then have a conversation with them. Then you could learn how to sell. That's what a lead is. Okay. So the role of marketing, just to be really clear and separate in your mind, the role of marketing is lead generation. Okay. The role of marketing is lead generation. And lead generation means to collect contact details. That would be something that I would write down. Okay. I know that when I listen to podcasts, I don't write, but I do take my phone out for big takeaways and I write this down. I'll take my phone out for this. Okay. So long as it's safe. The role of marketing is lead generation. The role of booking a new patient that's actually sales. You have to have a conversation with somebody and you have to be able to influence that person, that conversation. And you have to get to inspire them to take action where they go, you know what? Yes, book me in. That's selling. That's sales. Now, it's important to separate it because in my mind, I used to open my office in the beginning. I used to do a lot of screenings. And I would think, people would say, what marketing do you do? And I say screenings. Actually, screening is marketing and selling, because when you set up a booth, okay, all those people that walk past your booth that stop, okay, that's lead generation. You should be collecting their details. So when somebody stops, whether or not they come in as a new patient, when they stop and they do that, well, what's going on here? Or this is interesting. And you start going through your scripting about, oh, how you doing? Have you ever had a spinal system before? We're doing whatever you're doing, right? We do neck scans with thermography scans. Hey, we do 2-minute free neck scans, right? Have you ever had one before? No, I haven't, but I'd be interested. That person is now a lead. Collect their information. Okay, great, no problems. Hey, what I'll get you to do is get you to fill out this quick 1-minute survey. And on that survey, guess what you're going to ask for? Name, surname, contact details, okay, and any underlying issues or complaints they have, because the more information you know about them, the better the quality of lead. So if I just know your name, Lona Cook, that's a certain amount of quality. If I know now your contact number and email address, it's next level quality. If I also know, I don't want to jinx you now, Lona, but Lona gets neck pain, she had neck pain recently, right shoulder issue, that's more quality because I know information about Lona then that I can actually have a meaningful conversation with her. All right.
Okay. And you
So
can do that if you're stopping in and introducing yourself business to business. Grab their card, build your list.
100%, exactly. So as we go through in the next couple of episodes and give you systems, process, procedure, I want you to understand the moment that you get any person's details, that becomes the lead. So watch this now. You could be doing a screening on the weekend and you might screen 200 people. You might sign up 30 new patients. You should collect details of 200 people. You might do a dinner workshop. I was talking to one of my on a coaching call yesterday, and they've got a dinner workshop booked tonight for 54 people. Okay. Of those 54, probably 40 will rock up. Probably they'll sign up 25 newies. They should collect details of 54 people, right? Let's say you run a Facebook ad. Many of you guys are doing this. Let's say in a month you have makeup number 100 leads. Okay. And of those 100 leads, 30 turn into new patients. You should collect 100 leads details. And like what Lona was saying, playing the long game means this. All of those details, you need to put them in a central place, not your practice software. Okay. Put the new patients in your practice software, but you need to collect all your leads somewhere. Where I collect and manage them all is in the CRM. So every single person that I've ever spoken to where I collect the details, bang, they go straight to a CRM. Because watch this. Lona, you're talking about playing the long game. Down the road, I know everyone on this call, if you live in the 21st century and you're someone looking to grow your practice, I would almost guarantee that down the road, you're going to be investing in digital marketing. All right. Digital marketing means you're going to be paying companies like either Google or Meta, right? And think about this. You're paying them because you're borrowing their audience and you're putting a message in front of their audience. And so therefore you pay them tens of thousands of dollars every year to borrow their audience. Yet, if from the beginning you start building up your own audience, you can actually use that audience of yours for almost free. And the amount of chiropractors that are sitting on thousands and thousands of details, right? Yet they never market and promote that detail. They never have proper setup email campaigns, SMS campaigns, workshop campaigns, nurturing campaigns. Yet they're dropping thousands of bucks into other things every single month and being disappointed with. Blows my mind every single time.
That's another nugget to write down right there. Is just look at what you already have. Now in a new practice, you're building that, right? But
yes. Yes, 100%. So I love that you brought up, okay, play the long game. Play the long game means that you're going to go out this weekend, do a screening. Every single person screening survey, collect details straight to your CRM. Everyone who's signed up and doesn't sign up, okay? Because at the end of the day, marketing comes down into there's really only one of 4 ways to market, all right? Here are the 4 ways. You ready? You've got one-to-one cold outreach. One-to-one cold outreach, right? That would be an example of a screening. A screening you've set up, you don't know anyone, they're stopping, you're talking about one-on-one, that's cold outreach. One-on-one cold outreach would be an example of calling people, right, that you don't know, okay? That works when you know how to do it properly, okay? Then you've got one-to-many cold outreach. One-to-many cold outreach would be things like, I'm putting on a workshop, right? Next week, I've got a workshop happening. We've got 80 people that we've got confirmed for that. Well, we're moving towards 80 confirmed for the workshop. At the moment, we don't know there's 80 people. So that's going to be one-to-many cold outreach, right? Then you've got one-to-one warm outreach. And one-to-one warm outreach means, you ready? Pull out your phone, look at your Facebook friends list. Every single person on that friends list, I hope at least, that's a warm lead, okay? You probably have people from high school there. You probably have people from like junior school there. You probably have people from like previous jobs there. Guess what? They are all leads. You have their contact details. You could put a plan in place, and we'll put this together for the battle plan, all right? Where you say every day, I'm going to outreach to 10 people and I'm going to put a message together. Hey, Lona, hope you've been well. What's been happening? How's life? Okay, great. And then we move down towards the stream. Hey, Lona, we've actually started a new holistic chiropractic health clinic. And right now we're looking for 15 people that have been experiencing lower back pain to take through our breakthrough lower back protocol to get your life back on track and help your body thrive. Do you or someone you know could be interested in this? If you sent that message out to 10 people every single day on your warm list, okay, guarantee you'll have 10% respond back to that message in some form or another of actually, yes, you read my mind. I've been having this issue. Or you know what? I've been thinking about my dad. Okay. And if you just set a rule where you said, I'm going to do that every single day for the next 30 days, 10 per day, all right, you reach out to 300 people, okay, you will get new patients coming from that. That's called one-to-one warm outreach. Third way of marketing. And then the fourth way of marketing.
Bobby, I love what you just did there and breaking it down like that is like the ability to comprehend what he just said and then execute on that is what sets people apart. Like, are you committed to doing that? Mm-hmm.
Speed of implementation, right? We had a podcast out a few episodes ago. One of the keys for success or successful people, speed of implementation. That's an example. Guys, you could do that today, right? And commit to doing it consistently every day for 30 days. And then message me what happens or message Dr. Lona what happens. And then the fourth way of marketing is one-to-many warm outreach, okay? One-to-many warm outreach is your email list. These are people that now you've met before. Once you've had them at a spiral screening, even if they didn't sign up as a newie, you've met that person. You technically know that person now. You know them well enough where you have their details, you know their name. Heck, if you collected the details well, you even know what conditions they suffer from or what conditions are bothering them, even if they didn't sign up at that spot, okay? And one-to-many warm outreach means then we can run SMS campaigns to those people. We can run email campaigns to people. We can run workshop campaigns to those people, right? And Lona, at this point, I think it's appropriate to talk about, you mentioned Dr. Stephen Franson before. Another good point that he made is marketing is about three things coming together. You ready? Here are the three things. You want the person listening to go, yes, that's me. Right? That what they're talking about, that marketing message. Let's say I send out an email to my email database, okay, saying we are running a gut-brain connection workshop, okay? Shout out to Dr. Steve Tullis. And this is for people that are suffering from energy issue, cloudy mind fog, okay, fibromyalgia, chronic pain, okay? The person that receives that, you want to look at it and go, that's me. I'm freaking exhausted. I'm run down. Okay. That's me. He's talking about chronic pain. Yes, I've been having freaking more program recently. Okay. Then the second thing you want them to do is go, yes, that's the thing. Yes, that's the thing. I've been exhausted. They put it together in words beautifully, what they've put in this email. That's the thing. Yes, I've got cloudiness. I've got fog. I just had a holiday and I'm still feeling like that. That's the thing. Okay. And then the third thing that has to come together to make it all happen. Okay. That's me. That's the thing. And yes, now is the time. Okay, now I'm ready to take action on this. Because you will meet people at a screening, at a talk, through Facebook leads, through wherever you generate. They go, yeah, that's me. Have you ever spoken to someone, Lona, that's like, you know, they've got issues, they've got pain going on. That's me. Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, it's debilitating this, it's debilitating that. And then when you give them an offer, they come up with some excuse or some reason why they take the next step. Have you had that?
Yes, I have.
I know we all have. I've had it too. Okay. Because the third part of it is not there. That's me. That's the thing. Yeah, but now not the right time. And when you learn how to communicate and you learn how to market properly, okay, it always baffles me. I was always like, hang on, there's this person that has a problem. I have a solution. So what's the freaking problem? Why are they not taking action? And the only reason they're not taking action is because of all of the excuses they give themselves between like, yeah, that's me. I've got this problem. This guy's got the solution. Insert, I don't have time. I don't have money. I don't have space. I can't drive. I need to talk to my plumber. I need to talk to this person. They're just excuses that we tell ourselves as human beings, right? But if you learn how to market and communicate properly, the timing for everyone comes where they go, that's me, that's a thing, and yes, now's the right time.
So good. And I think what you just pointed out there too is like when you started the podcast with there's no shortage of people who need our help is like on some level too, you've got to stop being hung up on the ones that don't take advantage of what you had to offer and focus on all the more people that you still can talk to, right? I think as chiropractors, sometimes we get rejection and we feel like, what did I do wrong? And it's like, yes, learn from it. And at the same time, there's a million other people that you can speak to. Keep going.
Yep, 100%. Exactly right. So first thing is first, collect contact details of everyone, store them all in the CRM. You can get CRMs these days as cheap as $29, $39, $40 a month, right? Literally. And start collecting your own database of people so you're not continually paying tens of thousands of dollars or have end conversations. Do that and start marketing to your people and create a compounding effect, which brings me to point number two. Point number two is I love internal referrals. So Lona, you spoke about internal referrals before. Love them. Okay. Amazing quality people. Love getting more and more of them. Here's what else I know about internal referrals. The more people that I talk to, the more internal referrals that I get. So if I'm seeing 20 people a week, I'm going to get a certain percentage of internal referrals. Let's call them 2, 3, maybe a week. If I'm talking to 200 people a week, I'm going to get 10, 15, 20, 25 internal referrals. Okay. If I'm talking to 500 people, I'm going to get 40, 50, 60 internal referrals a month. So I love this idea of what's called the compounding effect. And compounding is one of the most powerful principles, which means that when you start to develop systems, whether that's consistent screenings, whether that's email, SMS marketing, whether that's consistent workshops, whether that's consistent digital presence. And when you get new patients coming in through that, I want you from day one to start to already think about what I call the parlay or the compounding effect. And I'm going to tell you a strategy right now that this is the easiest strategy to insert into any conversation that you have with anyone, and it will immediately increase your new patients by 30%. Do you want me to tell you what it is?
I do. Yes.
Okay, watch this. It'll blow your mind how simple this is, Lona, and it's one line. When you're talking to somebody and that person is making the appointment, just add one line. Who else do you know that would be interested in this special offer? That's it. Not, do you know anyone else? No. Who else, Lona, do you know that would be interested in this? Insert whatever it is, depending how you found them. So for the spinal screening, they're signing up. Great. Hey, Lona, who else do you know that would be interested in getting a proper assessment done? If it's a Facebook lead and they're converting and they're coming, they're making the appointment. Great. Hey, Mark, who else do you know that would be interested in getting self-assessed? That's it. Just say that. Nothing else. Okay. If it's at a workshop and you're going around, you're signing people up at the end. Hey, Mary, who else do you know that'd be interested in this breakthrough offer? That's it. Just insert that line and scripting across every single sales process that you do, full stop period, and you'll have a 30% increase in your patients. Who else do you know? Most people don't do it because they're afraid of losing that sale that's there right there in front of them. Okay. But when you come from a place of complete service and complete open heart, that one simple line of who else do you know will immediately yield 30% increase and create a compounding effect of internal referral quality people.
And what you just said there, when you come from a place of service and your heart is in the right place, people can feel that and they're going to know it's also because you truly mean it, that you want to help more people, right? So you can't skip that step.
Yep, spot on the mark. Okay. So I love the compounding effect, and I look at, the amount of newies that we get from any paid marketing or paid advertising that we do. How do I compound that with internal referrals? And it starts with that line. Who else do you know? And then it's filtered through your day one process. In day one, I'm multiple times saying things to people like, hey, so one thing that we know, Lona, is that stress accumulates in all of us. So what's happening to you is not unique to you at all. It happens in all of us, whether you have symptoms or not. It starts to plant the seed. Okay. At the end of day one, I'll tell every single person, next report, let's get your spouse here or your partner with you as well, because we're going to cover some important information as it pertains to your health. And they're really going to help you, support you through that process, keep you more accountable, and help you get better outcomes as well. Let's find a time for both of you guys. And when the spouse comes in, guess what you're doing at that point? You're planting the seed. So guys, stress accumulates when you're doing your general report. Okay. Stress accumulates in all of us. So all of us go through these phases of phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. The question isn't, is it just unique to one person? Okay. The question is, what action steps do we take and what point do we get it? Okay. So all of us start to lose the curvature. We call that a phase 1. Then if you leave it and choose to do nothing, in all of us, it'll turn into discs getting damaged. We call that a phase 2. Okay. This is why everyone should get assessed. This is why it's our mission to check kids, because the first stresses start from birth process itself. Any parent can relate to this when they see the birth process. And I used to find it harder to understand, and I get it now, and in utero as well. My little daughter, my wife was pregnant. She used to always stick her knee out, right? I would always see this little knee bulging out of my wife's belly, right? And so I used to love annoying her, right? So I'd push the knee and she'd push it back in, right? And so this is my first my first experience of, okay, these are outside world stresses on a baby in utero, right? In different positions and moving around. I was like, oh my goodness, the first stresses actually happen in utero. So when you really truly understand that, it's like in your general report, insert that. This is why we check all kids inside of the office here, because we know the first stresses start from in utero, and birth itself is a stressful process. And you know what? Building healthy kids is much easier than trying to fix broken adults.
Bobby, you're a marketing genius. Thank you for unpacking so much for all of us there. There was a lot. I want my team to listen to what you just said too. If you're listening to this and you're like, he just unpacked so many thoughts that probably most of you are like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that well enough. Pick one or two things and do what he said, where you're really doing the next level of follow-up, the next level of keeping track of your leads, leveraging a certain part of your marketing campaigns right now to a greater degree, and know that you can keep compounding that by doing it on the next funnel and the next part that you're, going to leverage next. You're not going to maybe bite this all off at once.
So takeaway from today, because the next two episodes, we're going to do battle plans for you guys, okay? Takeaways for today is this. Remember what Lona said at the beginning of the podcast. Marketing is an act of kindness. You need to approach it like that, okay? Unfortunately, or I don't know if I should say unfortunately, it's both, okay? There is no shortage of sick, suffering people out there in the world that need what you have, okay? I love what Patrick Gentempo said when he said, you don't need new patients need you. It's a mindset shift. Okay. To this day, even though we consistently get over 100 new patients a month, I still feel like, we're barely scratching the bottom of the barrel. We're still missing heaps of things. I don't have it all put together. All right. But it inspires me about, man, what is like the ceiling? Is it 300? Is it 400, 500 new patients a month? Like, what's the ceiling in a single office? And when you start developing that mindset around it, guys, what you'll start realizing is you'll see new patients all around you. Every single person with a spine, every single person that has a heartbeat, okay, needs to be getting assessed and checked inside of your office. So with that, okay, remember, takeaway for this week is learn how to compound. It could be as simple as, who else do you know? But it starts with a mindset shift. And then when we start building the systems for you guys in the next couple of podcasts, those systems are going to be able to get just supercharged and you'll get far better results with it. Dr. Lona, final comments for us?
I love that. As someone who made the choice to reach out to a school district and find out about bringing chiropractic into them, and it has blossomed into like the school district feeds our practice that operates in the schools, new patients. What's planted that seed for me is exactly what you said there. Someone said to me, the drug companies don't have problem thinking this big for the consumers, the people. Why do we as chiropractors have a problem thinking about how do we bring this to more people, right? We're serving them life. We're serving them hope. We're serving them the innate power of their body. So I think when we start to think bigger about how do I get my message in front of more people, how do I be able to serve a bigger quantity of the people in our community, you will build the business then to do that. So it's a fun thing to play with in your mind when your heart's in the right place.
Yep, love it. Remember, guys, final comments. There's no shortage of new patients who need you. So if you like this podcast, please give us a 5-star review, guys. If you're not following us, click on the 3 dots in the top right-hand corner of the podcast app, and please follow, subscribe to the show. It really helps us a lot in terms of getting this message out. And make sure you tune into our next one, because we're going to be doing battle plans, marketing battle plans for your office. Okay, whether you're in launch or build, whether you're in scale moving for exit, we're going to be putting battle plans, marketing plans together for you that you can follow. Lona, pleasure as always. Catch you really soon.
You too, Bobby. You're a genius. Thank you for that.
Catch team. See you guys.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Build Your Remarkable Practice podcast. Remember, what the world needs now is chiropractic, and what chiropractic needs now is more successful chiropractors. If you like the podcast, please subscribe, share with your friends, and leave us a review. And if you'd like to connect with us personally, please click the links in the show notes to schedule a call.